So, like I was saying earlier on, please keep your mics muted, please. Those who are just joining us, please have your mics muted. It's important. All right, so what we have to be watching out for tonight, like I said, for anybody who wants to get the robot for free and everything that goes with it, you have between tonight and tomorrow. Tomorrow actually marks the deadline. What I was saying in the first part, if you are interested in this package, for instance, right now, from the 11th of next month, as the month of October 2025, anybody who is joining the system and who is interested in using the robot, to make as much profit as it is specified per package, then this is what the person will be expected to do. The person will get the robot for free, definitely, but the person will need to fuel the robot by purchasing what we call a performance pack like this one. Assuming the person is interested in this particular package, then the performance pack is going to cost the person 1,100 euros. And once the person spends this amount to get this performance pack, this amount will never return to the person, means that it's gone to the company for good. Now, the person will be expected to load the exchange account which the person has connected the robot to, be it Mexi or Bing X or any other exchange that shall be, made to be part of this group of exchanges on which this robot can be able to do the trading. The minimum also that the person will need to put in such an account to should be 1,100 euros. Once that is done, then the robot begins its activities. It will start doing the trading normally. And the robot will only stop doing the trading, or the robot's lifespan will only expire when the robot would have generated a total of 400%. That is the way it has been programmed. Once it hits 400% as the profit margin, then you would have made a total of what? 4,400 euros. That's the profit you would have made. But remember, your initial capital is still there, which is the 1,100 euros that actually gave birth to this 4,400. So it's the machine that is doing the trading, getting into the market, coming out of the market when it is the time for it to do so on your behalf. Because that's something you're normally supposed to be doing, which is referred to as manual trading. But this is an automated trading system where the robot gets to do the trading for you. So this is the total profit, meaning that at the end of the day, how much did you invest? Actually, you invested 1,100 euros for the performance part and 1,100 euros for the trading section, which means you actually invested 2,200. At the end of the day, when the 400% has been hit, which means your total profit of 4,400 added to this capital here, 1,100, which means at the end of the day, you'll be going back home with what? 5,500 euros worth. Of course, this one you are getting in terms of UCHAIN. That is the profit that you would have made, which of course you're definitely going to convert to USDTs whatsoever. But good enough, the profit is going to be paid directly even in USDTs. It's not even going to be in terms of the UCHAIN itself. So what is going to happen is, once you have this one, and somebody who is wise enough, you came into the system with 2,200. Right now you have 4,400 plus this 1,100, which is 5,500 euros worth. What do? You can decide to buy another robot again of the same capacity, or you go in for a robot with a bigger capacity, and then you load it again for the same process to keep, giving you the same profit or the same advantages or the same benefits. As simple as that. I'm going to show you a small technique on how to go about that in a short while. So in summary, this is how it works. You have, first of all, the bot license, which is in essence the performance pack. It's going to cost 1,100 euros, which is non-refundable, like I said earlier. Then you load your trading platform, be it Mexi or Bing X or whichever, with 1,001. That's the minimum because it's a 1:1 ratio. Then at the end of the day, you would have made a total profit of what? 2,200 euros. Now they're saying 2,200 euros simply because if you go on the basis of this is 4,400 euros that you've made. If you remove this 1,100 euros from there, plus this 1,100 euros, which is the initial investment you made, which means at the end of the day, you've made a profit of what? 2,200 euros. That's simply what this one is talking about. Otherwise, at the end of the day, you're going back home with 5,500 euros. As simple as that. Now, these are the various packages. Let me go back to the various packages so that we look at them. What I'm so particularly happy or excited about in all of this is the fact that the smallest package costs as small as 11 euros, which means that Even the people on the streets can really find it comfortable for them to make money using this system. This is one of the best things that the company has done. Imagine the smallest amount being equivalent to 11 euros times 2, which is 22 euros. Now, let's try to do some analysis on that using a small chart on Excel, which I did. I want everybody to be able to see this. Good. Now, let's look at this. Maybe from this chart, some people will be able to understand. Assuming that somebody wants to go in for the first package, that's the smallest package, which is air. The name of that package is air. Now, the performance capacity for that package is 11 euros. Now, 11 euros, what's the equivalent of 11 euros in USDTs? It's equivalent to 12.98, almost 13 euros, or rather $13 in terms of USDTs. Now, for the people within CEMAC, in francs CFA, that is around about 7,788 francs CFA, which means with 7,788 francs CFA, somebody can already get a performance license for this package, which is the smallest one. Now, once that license has been gotten, it is now left for the person to load the exchange account. That's assuming that the person would have connected the robot to the exchange. Now, the person needs to load the exchange with USDT. In other words, the person needs to give a trading capital to the robot so that the robot uses that trading capital to start doing the job. Now, the minimum, now we have two ages. There are two angles to this. The minimum that you must load the robot with, like I said earlier, must be the same as the amount that you spent in purchasing what? The license, the performance license or the performance package. Here, in this case, we use 12.98, which means that the minimum quantity of USDTs to be loaded on the exchange also should normally be 12.98. Now, I've taken this one to 13 because before you even get the USDTs to put on the exchange, definitely you would have purchased the USDTs from somewhere where there will be transaction charges included and so on. So this one is taken up to 13. Now, if we have a minimum of 13, even though the real amount inside will be the same as this one, which is the 12.98, that's what you have to put in here. I'm putting this one up to 13 because of the transaction fee inside. What is the equivalence of this $13 in francs CFA, for instance? If we analyze all of this, this one right now should give you around about 7,800. So if we add 7,788 to 7,800 francs CFA, which means at the end of the day, the person would have spent a total of what? 15,588. In other words, with 15,588 francs CFA, you can do the same calculation in your own currency, whichever country you come from. Once you have the dollar equivalencies, simply use the conversion rate according to the standards in your nation. You'll be able to see what that amounts to in your own local currency. Within CEMAC, for instance, or those in Cameroon, for instance, which means with 15,588 francs CFA, somebody can already get a trading robot and the trading capital for the robot to start trading for the person. That's the minimum amount. And if the person is able to spend this 15,588, at the end of it, this is the total amount that the robot would have generated as profit. I mean, just profit, which is 23,400. What if that happens in 1 week, in 1 day, in 2 days, in 3 days, in 1 week, in 1 month? It could even be up to maybe 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, it depends. Now, it is the nature of the variation of, in fact, it depends on the market conditions. So if the market conditions are really, really favorable for the person, then it's possible that somebody can hit the targeted mark within 24 hours, 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, and so on and so forth. So it's as simple as that. Now, this is for somebody who says, I don't have so much money to be able to load in my trading account. Now, in other words, what I'm trying to make us understand is, if they say you've gotten a license of this amount, and that minimum you have to load on your exchange account also should be, let's say, the same 12.98. Now, somebody will be asking, what if I have more USDTs to put inside? Must I put only 12.98? The answer is no. There's also a maximum amount of USDTs that you can load inside the account. The maximum amount of USDTs you can load inside the account cannot be more than 10 times this smallest amount. So if you multiply this smallest amount by 10, you'll be able to determine the maximum amount of USDTs that you can put in your exchange. Why? Because the more USDTs you have on your exchange balance, the shorter will be the time you will take to generate your 300% profit on that amount of USDTs you have loaded on that exchange account or that exchange available balance. In other words, assume that the minimum to load on the exchange, like I earlier said, is $13. This is it here. So $13 being the minimum, what is the maximum on this $13? So simply multiply 13 by 10. That will give you this $130. That's why I said maximum load. The maximum load here is this $13, which is the minimum load on your exchange, multiplied by 10. That gives you $130. So if you load your exchange account with $130, means that you've loaded it with a maximum amount. The robot also will use very little time to cycle out to produce the 300% profit margin for you, which means if you calculate 300% of this $130, what does that represent? That represents this amount here, 234,000 francs CFA. That's just the profit, which means that this your profit is independent of. Now the question is, for the person to be able to purchase this $130 to load inside, how much would this $130 cost the person in francs CFA? This is the amount here. Right now, that's taking into consideration the exchange rate at this moment, which means the person will need 78,000 to purchase $130 in order to max load the exchange account. That's based on the capacity that the robot has. At the end of the day, the person would have gotten a total profit of what? 234,000 francs, independent of this 78,000. So if you add 78,000 to this 234,000 francs, you will see what the person is going home with at the end of the day. That is what the robot has produced for the person. No job is expected for the person to do. You don't have to monitor the trades. You don't have to even go out prospecting other people. That's if you choose not to do it. You don't have to do some payment of monthly activation fee and so on and so on. You don't have to bother yourself whether the pool is saturated, whether more people are coming inside buying more splits and so on and so forth. You are not bothered about that. Everything is based on realities on the market. If the coin is down, the robot gets into the market, purchases on your behalf. If it goes up in price, it goes back to the same market, sells on your behalf. The only thing you're expecting to have is this profit at the end of the day. And please, do not consider all of these values that I'm putting here to be the real values. No, I'm just using these values to demonstrate exactly what is going to be happening with the robot. I'm saying so that somebody doesn't go screenshotting this and saying, oh, the presenter said once I come in with maybe a total of this 15,588 or this quantity of USDTs and so on and so forth, this is what I'll be getting at the end of it. No, that's not what I'm saying. But there's a possibility that, yes, what you're going to get will not be very far away from these values that I'm showing you. They will not be too far from these values. I'm not saying that these are the exact amounts that you're going to be seeing. No, because everything will depend on the price value of the UCHAIN itself in the market. It will also depend on the exchange rate according to your currency, the currency in the nation where you find yourself. So there are other parameters that will help to define the exact amount that you're going to get. But whatever amount you're going to get is not going to be too far from this. So to give you a recap in terms of this, the first thing, choose a package, which is air, for instance. What is the cost of this that you find on the package? It is 11 euros. Convert it to USDTs. What's the equivalence? This is it, 12.98. In my local currency, that's about 7,788. Once I've spent this amount of money, like I said, this amount of money or this one or this equivalence goes directly to the company. You will never have it again. That one goes and it never comes back. Once you have been able to do that, you've already gotten what we call a performance license for your robot. The next thing you'll be expected to do will be to load your exchange. That's why I've written here exchange loading. So you have to go to the exchange that you've connected your robot to. So you have to go there and load it with either the minimum or the maximum. You can decide to load it with something which is which is probably not the maximum, but of course, definitely more than the minimum. The minimum here is $13. Which means that if you have $15, you can put, you have $16, $17, $18, $19, you can put inside. But the maximum amount in dollars you can load it is 130. You cannot load beyond 130. If you load beyond 130, the robot is only going to extract 130 from inside and trade. The other balance, it will not touch it. Because it will be requesting for you to go and buy another license or a bigger license so that the robot can have more strength to be able to, trade more. So once you are able to let's say you can only afford for $13, which is the minimum amount. That $13 is going to cost you 7,800, which means at the end of the day, you will have spent this amount, which goes and will never come back, plus this amount, which is amounting to a total of 15,588 here. At the end of the entire process, your total profit will stand at 23,400. This, your initial trading capital is still there. This one, 7,800. So if you add it to this, you will see what you go back home with at the end of the day. Now, for somebody who has a little bit of more money and the person is able to max load, the entire capacity of the robot with a total of what? That's 10 times this amount, the minimum amount, which is 130. So for you to be able to get this 130, you need 78,000. That's per the exchange rate now. It can in fact, it fluctuates always. It can either go down or it goes up. So this one is just an indicative value. It's not a standard amount. So it means at the end of the day, this person will have spent 78,000 plus the amount for the license, for the performance capacity license, which is 7,788. So if we add this one to this one, then it means that the person at the end of the day will have spent a total of 85,788. Now, what is the total profit that the person is expecting to make from this trading capital of 130 or 78,000? That capital is going to, that profit is going to stand at 234,000 francs CFA. The person's trading capital is still there, which is this 78,000. So if you add 78,000 to this one, you see what the person goes home with at the end of the day, which means that having this amount, the person can decide to come back again and purchase another air package. The person can even purchase as many as possible. Or the person can decide to do an upgrade. You go to the next package. Once you cycle out with that next package, you move to the next package ahead in terms of capacity. So before you know, you begin to upgrade. Gradually like that, you are moving upward. Now, like I said, the good thing with this one is that it is an automated robot that is doing the job for you. There is no mafia that can be played in this system. And there is no way you can trade this Ultima and be at a loss. The robot has been programmed to work and produce only profit for you, no losses. The only difference, what somebody cannot give you a guarantee on, is how long will the robot be able to trade and give you the profit that you are waiting for. Nobody can tell you that. Let me be very honest with you on this one. Nobody can tell you how long it will take. But what I can tell you with certainty is that if you load your own robot with the smallest amount that is needed to be loaded on the exchange, you are going to take a longer time to produce the 300% profit margin compared to somebody who is able to load, the capacity with the maximum amount. So he who loads it with the maximum amount will take a very little time to cycle out to produce the percentage profit margin on this same amount that the person has been able to load inside. So it will take a shorter time to realize that, as opposed to somebody who puts just the minimum inside. So the more coins you put inside, the smaller also will be the time that you take to cycle out, means to make the total profit. Secondly, once you've loaded your USDTs on your exchange account and the robot is already trading, you have the possibility to go and interrupt it. You can decide to tell the robot that, no, stop at this level, give back my trading capital, the trading capital I gave you, give it back to me. And you can collect your trading capital and you go back. Maybe you go and do something. Probably you have a pressing issue. You can go and spend it on whatever it is. Then the day that you have money again, you can come back and you tell the robot that, okay, now I'm bringing more money to you. Take this money now, go back to the market and continue the work that you were doing before I interrupted you. So you see how nice this one is, because you can put the system on a pause. You can pause the system, or you put it on hold. You use all the money, you do something. The year, whichever year, because like I said, once the robot does not produce the total 300% profit margin it has been assigned to produce for you, the robot will keep working. It will never stop. Even if it has to take the next 100 years, it will be there until it produces that profit for you. It will not stop. So it's important for us to understand this. Now, let's go back to our main slide. Really don't know if somebody's really catching the flow, if somebody's really catching this thing the way I'm doing it, because the way I'm seeing, very huge possibility in this. If you explain this thing to somebody, even somebody who is as scared as what? I mean, when it comes to online investment, particularly in the domain of digital assets, if you explain this thing well to the person, there's nobody who will be able to resist this. Because in all honesty, there is no bank or credit union or whatever financial institution you can take this amount of money and put there, and it produces such interest. Look at the smallest package, it produces what percentage profit margin. 300%. This one 300%, 300%, 300%. Now, when you go up to a package as high as this one is going to give you up to 320%. This one gives you 350%. This is 400%, 420. The largest here is 600%. This one, the performance package is 110,000 euros. This is the total percentage. 600% of this 110,000 euros that would have been loaded in this exchange account is going to produce 660,000 euros as profit for the person, which means that the person with the smallest package, that one of that 15,000 something, this is the total profit that the person would have made at the end of the day. That's if the person decides to load it with just 11 euros also, which is the 1:1. So with 33 euros, means you can remove 11 euros from there, you buy another air license again. You remove 11 euros again from there, you load it inside the exchange account, and you'll be left with 11 euros as profit. Then that air also, which you've just gotten, with the same 11 euros inside, will keep producing the same thing for you. So you need to be disciplined also in the way you do it. That way, gradually, before you know, you can move from this package to this one, from this one to this one, from this one to this one, from this one to this one, and so on and so forth. So this thing is amazing, guys. I'm telling you, this thing is amazing. This is not something for somebody to joke with. If you joke with this thing, it means you have really not understood so much about it. Now, let us proceed. I've already shown you the various packages. The good thing, like I said earlier on, the bot itself is free. Like you see, it's even indicated here. The only thing you need to purchase is the performance pack, which is like you buying fuel and putting inside a free car that has been given to you as a gift. Now, the next thing you have to do will be to top up your exchange account, meaning you have to put the trading capital on your exchange account. Then once you do that, you activate the robot, means that you tell the robot officially that go ahead and start trading. The only thing you have to do next is to sit back, relax, and start doing what? Enjoying the profit. There is nothing again like paying transaction fee, like people used to know with the liquidity pool system, like on the Ultima blockchain and the smart blockchain. They have to keep talking about gas fee here and there and so on, and it's getting so many people confused. People get mixed up with. People don't even know exactly how to go about the gas fee. With this system, you don't need any transaction fee, at least for now. From the information we have gotten from the company, there will be not a transaction fee. Even though personally I have my doubts. I have my doubts on this. Why? Because this is a blockchain. It is not a token. It is a full-fledged coin. And if it is operating on a blockchain, every blockchain will require a transaction fee. Every blockchain requires it, a transaction fee, in order to sustain the blockchain. So what I know for a fact is, those who will be doing this trading, of course, they will be getting their rewards directly in USDT. But if you have to use the decentralized applications that will be connected to this blockchain, like the wallet that the company is working on, because it's a UCHAIN wallet coming. Now, if you start making usage of that decentralized application of this UCHAIN blockchain, then a transaction fee will definitely apply. Even though the advantage with the transaction fee there, as opposed to the transaction fee on the other blockchain, is that it's going to be extremely very low. And then the transaction speed also is extremely going to be very high. Those are some of the differences also that you need to understand with this blockchain technology. But maybe at the beginning, the company can decide to allow it free for people to do those transactions for free. But I know that over time, they will have to institute that transaction fee, because that's what the company will need to sustain the blockchain as well. Good. So these are some of the things that we need to know. Now, talking about the referral program, since most of us are networkers, this is where it becomes very interesting. If you look at it here, you see that there is a combination of two things. First of all, the trading, which is done by the robot, and the business part. This business part is the one that was connected to, of course, still presently being connected to the Ultima coin. So they are going to detach it from the Ultima coin and connect it to the trading robots on the UCHAIN. So much so that Ultima coin goes straight into the market to run the race with the other top coins, so that it gets the position, the visibility that the company badly needs. So much so that those who are dealing with Ultima coin also can be smiling when they start seeing the price moving over. But now with the business part of this one, everything still remains the same, at least for the very beginning, which the company is referring to as a promo, which means that if you refer somebody who comes in and purchases, even if it's just the smallest performance package of 11 euros worth, which is about 12 point something dollars, or which is about 7,700 and something francs CFA, then you as the direct upline, you are going to benefit 40% on it. It is 40% of the amount that has been used to purchase the performance package. not 40% of the amount that has been loaded in the exchange. No. What you load in the exchange has no connection with the referral program. So the referral program is only linked to the amount that you spent to purchase the performance package. So it's good to understand that. So the direct referral commission still remains 40%. From the second generation to the fifth generation, 28%. Sixth generation to, I think, the ninth generation, this one. And then it goes right down to the 15th generation. The rank bonus is evaluated at 2%. Of course, 2% of the person's team volume sales or team turnover. It's as simple as that. So what I want everybody to be able to understand in this, one of the major differences, this is where, in fact, even if you forget every other thing that I've said before now, at least this is the one that you shouldn't forget. At this one, everybody should look at this. This is where this thing is very amazing. I can tell you also. This one is crazy, man. This one. When I look at this one every day, I'm like, oh my God. Now, what is this one? We are trying to do a comparative analysis between the robots that you can get inside the company right now or from the company right now and the robots that you will start getting from the company as from the 11th of next month. That is why please do everything possible within your reach not to miss getting a robot from this site. We are not saying that robots that you will get from this side are not good. They will be good, but the advantages linked to these robots are lesser compared to the advantages you get from the robots that you obtain from this side. Now, what is the difference between these two sides? Very simple. Now, like I said at the beginning, if you get your own robot between now and the end of the day of tomorrow, which is the end of the month, which means that from the 1st of October, this particular section is closed. This left side that you are seeing is closed, is out. We'll only start talking about this right side. But this left side, I'm telling you, has advantages. What are the advantages and how do you even get a robot from this side? Simple. The company now says, if you're in the system now, or even if you are not a member of the community even, all you need to do is any of those packages I just showed you over there. If you're interested in any of them, all you have to do is go and get Ultima tokens equivalent. For instance, let me go back to those packages. Let me use this one, for instance. This is a package that normally costs, the performance license costs 1,100 euros. And like I said, once you spend this amount of money, it will never come back to you. It's gone. The company takes it, and then they give you the robot. But now the company says, if you don't want us to take this your money, so much so that the money doesn't come back to you, then between now and the end of the day of tomorrow, go and look for Ultima coins, which are equivalent to 1,100 euros. So if you can get Ultima coins, which are equivalent to 1,100 euros worth, then all you need to do is go now to this package, freeze the Ultima coins there. Once you freeze the Ultima coins there, the Ultima coins will stay frozen for 3 years. Then automatically, this robot, in fact, this robot becomes yours from that same moment, that same second when you are done doing the freezing of the Ultima tokens or coins equivalent to 1,100 euros. You get the robot. Then every passing day, these same Ultima coins that you've frozen to get this robot will be producing new Ultima coins for you. In fact, you'll be getting daily rewards in Ultima coins every day for the next 3 years. And then number 3, 3 years later, these Ultima coins worth this 1,100 euros will be unfrozen, means that they will be returned to you. You will get them back. And don't forget that having the robot already connected to your exchange and loading it with USDTs, you are making also profit from that side. So that one is additional profit that you are getting. That is the advantage that you have if you are able to get your own robot between now and tomorrow. Like I said, tomorrow by midnight, that option is out. It is out completely. And just in case you didn't know, this particular option is not like it's something that we are just being told or we just knew about it. No, it has been on like this for several months. For several months. Means it's not today that it started. It has been on like that for several months. For those who have actually been doing follow-up, they already know about this. But the deadline is tomorrow. So if I were you, instead of waiting to get a robot like this on the 13th of next month, so much so that the robot will be giving you the same advantages I've just explained. But the disadvantage is that this money that you spend for the performance pack will go to the company, will never come back to you. So you lose it. So if you want to have everything back to yourself, go now and get your Ultima coins. Freeze them, knowing that 3 years later you will get them back. This one is just the example for the case of this particular package. You can go also to the smaller packages that we have in the system now. This package is not there in the system yet. This one is not there yet. This one is not there yet. The only one that you can find in the system right now is this one, 110 euros. That's the smallest that you can get. So go and get Ultima coins equivalent to 110 euros. Freeze them against this pack. You will get a bot for free. I mean, the performance license, it will be given to you. You connect the bot to your exchange. It will start trading. 3 years later, the Ultima coins which you had frozen here will be returned to you. What if in the next 3 years, the price of one Ultima has gone very far up, and then you are getting the opportunity to unfreeze them back to yourself? You go back to the market and sell at a higher price. So you see that it's a win-win situation. But now from the 1st of October, this particular option is out. You will not be able to get any robot by simply freezing Ultima coin. In fact, that freezing technology will be taken out from the product line of the company. I mean, from the section that has to do with freezing in order to get robots. People will still be able to do freezing, of course, but they will only be doing freezing in order to get what we call U energy, which is what they will need for their transaction. That's the only section where freezing will still continue. But nothing is free there, as a matter of fact. Even though the freezing there will still be for you to get it after 3 years, but the advantages there will be dropped down. They will be reduced. And then another beautiful thing again added to this one is the fact that right now our present robots can trade only TPTU. They can only trade TPTU. But the company is planning for them to trade, for the robots to be able to trade up to 4 different digital assets, notably Ultima, TPTU, which is an internal coin for the company. You'll be able to trade the same UCHAIN, which we are talking about, and you'll also be able to trade BTC, the famous BTC. And there's a possibility for many other coins also to be listed for the robot to be able to trade as well. Just imagine, the advantages are just too much. First of all, you get your Ultima coins, you freeze them. Just by freezing them, you know that 3 years later, you get them back. And then you have the possibility to trade either Ultima or trade TPTU or trade UCHAIN, that's UCHAIN, and also have the possibility to trade BTC using the same robot. Now, this is the simple technique. Somebody can decide to buy 3 different robots by simply freezing Ultima coins. Each of those robots, you can assign one robot to trade TPTU. You assign another robot to trade UCHAIN. You assign the other robot to trade what? BTC. Knowing fully well that at the end of the 3 years, all the Ultima tokens which you have frozen against each of the robots will come back to you, which your original investment is returned to you, but the robot has been doing trading for you and giving you a certain percentage. Now, the only difference when it comes to the trading of other coins, that is what I want to show you now. Let me show you where the differences will be. Good. Now, I'll come to this chart here, for instance. This is where the difference is. If you connect your robot to trade UCHAIN against USDT, then the profit that the robot will be able to realize for you will range between 100 to 300% per annum. Now, when they say per annum, is just indicative, meaning that once it doesn't register 300%, it does not stop. Now, if you decide for the robot to rather trade by this other pair, which is not a coin that belongs to our company, you will still get a percentage profit, no doubt about it, but it will not be as high as when you use it to trade a coin that is owned by our company. You see this one, if you are using it to trade BTC, then your profit will range between 30 and 90%. So if you load the exchange with maybe $100, for instance, then if it is going to give a profit of 30%, that means you end up having $30 as profit or $90 as profit on it, depending on the pack which you would have bought. I mean, the performance package which you would have gotten. So all in all, the essential thing which we have to retain is the fact that our robots, unlike before, which were strictly trading either Ultima or strictly trading TPTU, will henceforth have the possibility to trade other mainstream cryptocurrencies. How amazing is that? Imagine that a company or a platform comes and tells you that we are giving you a robot for free. Just connect it to an exchange. go and put money on the exchange and you start trading. Where have you ever seen that kind of a company? There's no company that gives out robots for free. Every robot must be purchased. And there are some whose robots need to be activated on a regular basis. But in our own system, our own robots are given for free. The only thing you need to do is freeze the Ultima coins. Get a performance package or capacity. 3 years later, you get your Ultima coins in return, which means you got everything for free. So the company is like virtually helping you to make money for yourself. So guys, this is not an opportunity to miss. Sorry. This is not an opportunity to miss. Tell me for a moment. Imagine a package as small as this one. I'm still very particular about this one. Do your calculation as a networker. If you're a well-established networker, you would have done these calculations before now. Assuming that you bring in, let's say, just 10%, just 10, let's say 10% only. And each one comes in with just 11 euros. Now, if you evaluate 40% direct referral commission, of course, the 40% will be paid around 10 euros equivalent. So if you take 40% of 10, that gives you about 4. That's 4 euros. So if you multiply 4 euros by 10%, that already gives you 40 euros. And it will be very easy to get people who can come in with a maximum of 22 euros. I mean, for this one, the smallest package, 22 euros is virtually nothing for so many people to afford. Even the person who says, I want to test to see whether this thing is really working, the person can easily put in his 22 euros for the license and for the trading. Once the person sees now the way the thing is working, and it's amazing what happens, before you know it, the person will bring in maybe more cash to say, okay, now let me upgrade and go to the other one. Or even if the person doesn't want to do it, the person can cycle out with this one and then use it to upgrade. Once the person cycles out from this one, he uses it to upgrade again. And please make no mistakes. You are seeing these percentages, this percentage profit margin, 300%. It does not mean that it will continue to be 300%. Time is coming when the company will say, okay, if you are not able to get a package among this one within this time frame, after this period, we are going to drop down the percentage performance from 200% to maybe 250%. So anybody who will be buying a robot from that moment will no longer be able to get up to this percentage performance. The company is definitely going to do it. So if I were you, the best time to take advantage of it is now. This is not a financial advice, please. I want to be very, very loud and audible on this one. What I'm saying is not a financial advice. I'm not obliging anybody to go and do anything which I've just said here. I'm simply sharing an experience, doing some analysis. If you think that what I'm explaining makes sense, go ahead and do it, because personally, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So if you think it's something worth doing, then you can also go ahead and do it for yourself. When it comes to the network marketing part of it, everybody, this one is very simple to understand. Anybody can understand. Simply explain to somebody, you get a trading robot, you load it with a trading capital, and that's it. Go and sleep. Don't do anything if you like. Don't even talk to any other person about it. Just be monitoring but their profit in your back office. It's as simple as that. As simple as that. There's nothing like transaction fee left and right.